Baraka Israel, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, all praises, glory to Yahweh, Hallelujah, praise Yahweh, may we call Yahweh rest upon you. And saying that, we gonna open up the book and go straight to the book of Isaiah, the 52 chapter, and I'm gonna start at verse 1. Isaiah 52 verse 1. Awake, put on thy strength. Now when it says awake, he talking about waking up and understanding. Basically saying wake up in that divine nature. You understand me? Because see, understand the difference between wokeness. See, the wokeness that the Bible speaks about is talking about a divine wokeness. Okay, like when you go to the 12 steps, right? Narcotics Anonymous. And the 12th step, it says what? Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. You understand me? Because they practiced those steps. And through the practicing of those steps, they was able to see beyond the physical nature. They were able to look in that divine nature. So they was able to overcome. So they had a spiritual awakening. Now the wokeness or the awakening that you all are into are philosophical wokeness of man. You understand me? Now the philosophical wokeness of man is ideology and philosophy. And there is no answer to philosophy but more philosophy. You understand me? And that philosophy comes in various views and forms. So there is no ending in philosophy but more philosophy. You understand me? See, so when it says awake, put on that strength, he talking about waking up in that divine nature and exercising those commandments, because that divine wokeness is going to give you that strength. You understand me? Let's read that again. Awake, put on thy strength, O Zion. Put on thy beautiful garments, Jerusalem, the holy city. Now when he says that garments, he talking about basically the clothing, but he talking about the fringes. You understand me? The borders are blue because, see, understand, out of all the nations on this planet, the nation of Israel is chosen out of all above all nations. And the separation from all these nations are the ribbons, the borders are blue, the fringes, the garments. Now understand that that's a law because that separates us, because see, the fringes helps us keep us in the commandments, help us remind us of who we are as a nation and as a people. You understand me? So by us remembering and understanding as a people, as a nation, who we are, I am able to keep the commandments. See, I work when I'm at work, I work in my my fringe, because this is where is it? It's in my book bag. My work shirt is in my book bag. You understand me? I rock my fringes because that's who we are. You understand me? Because see, those fringes, those commandments, you can go through those commandments is what's going to give you the strength. You understand me? So you can be able to exercise. That's why Paul tells you to grow into grace and into knowledge. You understand me? See, so once you learn the commandments and exercise the commandments, then you start to have that spiritual awakening, that divine wokeness. You understand me? Similar to the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous in order to obtain sobriety. Let's read that again. Isaiah 52 verse 1. Awake, put on thy strength, O Zion. Put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city. For hence there shall no more come in unto thee the uncircumcised and unclean. Now when he says the uncircumcised, he's talking about the physical covenant, but he's talking about the Gentile nations. You understand me? See, so when Paul says circumcised or the circumcision, he's talking about that physical covenant that he established with Abraham. Now understand, the uncircumcision are the Gentile nations because they don't have no covenant. You understand me? They don't know the commandments because the commandment was never given to them due to the fact that the nation of Israel went into slavery for following those other nations. You understand me? See, so when Paul say circumcision is nothing and uncircumcision is nothing, he talking about that covenant. You understand me? Because the nation of Israel, they rejected that covenant and they embraced the commandments of man. You understand me? It is what it is. So Yahweh God put their ass into slavery. You understand me? Economic slavery. hey, it is what it is. See, so they're not going to come and exercise these commandments. You understand me? Unclean, because you're going to understand that what you can eat and what you can't eat, what you can wear and what you can't wear. You understand me? What you can embrace and what you cannot support. You understand me? Circumcision is that covenant. You want to establish that covenant. You understand me? It is what it is. So you got to have that covenant in order to follow. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. Verse 2. Shake thyself from the dust, arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughters of Zion. And basically what he talking about is the philosophy, because the dust is the lower nature of man. See, you got the dust and then you got go deeper down and you got the dirt. So he talking about the physical nature of man, the philosophy of man, the religious ideology. It's like dust. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. And that dust holds you and keep people captive. Like a lot of people are captive, even though they go to church and believe and got baptized, yet they're captive to the religious ideology of a white man that's going to come who don't exist. Captive to democracy, captive to the transgender movement. You understand me? Captive to these politicians' agenda. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughters of Zion. And what he talking about is being unentangled with the philosophy and the religious ideology of man, because it comes in various forms. You understand me? Because see, understand, we in a spiritual war. The spiritual war is played out through these politicians. It's played out through these politicians' agenda. See, so it's time to awake and understand what this political game is about, because it all relates to the Bible. You understand me? Because see, understand, Yahweh God is not racist. You understand me? Yahweh God has no color, despite of Yahweh Shai coming in the physical nature. And when I'm talking about the physical nature, I'm talking about the human body, because the human body is of color. You understand me? White people, or the so-called white man, come out of black people. You understand me? White people are not aliens or that other nonsense that y'all are into. You understand me? But then that's another video, because see, understand, the camp, I'm from New York, right? The camp that I was in before I came to Miami, we did a few videos several years ago, about like 10, 11 years ago, about Esau. Because Esau is not the white man. You understand me? That's a lie. Esau is not the white man. The white man is not Esau. See, so a lot of Israelites, like the Christian church, they lack understanding in biblical prophecy. The difference is that they understand their nationality. You understand me? But yet they fall victim to the philosophy and the religious ideology, just like the Christian church. You understand me? See, so it's time to wake up and understand what y'all worship and understand in this political game. You understand me? Because see, God, Yahweh God is not racist. Yahweh God has no color. You understand me? Despite of Yahweh Shai coming in the physical flesh. You understand me? Or the human body is of color. Because see, understand, this game is not about skin color. This game is based on obedience. Life is based on obedience. You understand me? Let me go to Genesis 2 and 6 right quick. Genesis chapter 2, verse 6. But there went up a mist from the earth, and watered the whole face of the ground. And the Lord formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. You understand me? See, so the dust of the ground, that dust was wet. See, again, that dust is the lower nature. See, so that dust was wet, so that dust had color to it. You understand me? Now, that color multiplied because we all come from Adam. You understand me? Adam was created from the dust of the earth, but yet that dust of the earth had multiplied. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. See, let me go to the book of John, 14, and let me get verse. I'm gonna start at verse 8. I'm gonna start at 7. I'm gonna start at 6. John chapter 14, verse 6. Yahushua said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and life, and the life. No man come unto me, no man cometh unto the Father but by me. If ye have known me, you shall have known my Father also. Meaning that if you knew Yahushua and understood who Yahushua was, you would understand biblical prophecy. You would understand what you worship. You understand me? But again, the church is not designed to teach you what you worship, because church is a religious governing system of man. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. Let's read that verse 7 again. If you had known me, you should have known my Father also. And from henceforth ye know him and have seen him. Philip said unto him, Lord, show us the Father, and it sufficeth us. And Yahushua said unto him, have I been so long time with you, and yet hast not known me, Philip? He that hath seen me has seen the Father. How sayest thou then, show us the Father? See, so based on the biblical scriptures, we assume, or people assume, that Yahweh God is of color. You understand me? Due to the fact of that we are created in the image and the order of Yahweh God. You understand me? So through the physical knowledge of man, imagination, we assume that Yahweh God has color because Yahweh Shai come down from Yahweh God, because he is the Son. But y'all don't understand. Yahweh God is of no color, because see, Yahweh Shai is biblical prophecy. You understand me? He was in the beginning, but Yahweh Shai is biblical prophecy. See, a lot of y'all don't understand what this political game is about. You understand me? A lot of y'all die in idolization and separation. You understand me? And a lot of Israelites is just like the Christian church. They're going to die in their fringes. You understand me? Because see, it's not about waking up to the nationality of Israel. You understand me? It's not about the nationality. It's about the elect of that nationality. You understand me? Because everything is already written, meaning that life is already written. See, so whoever going to come into this truth as an Israelite is already written in that book. See, so you can, a camp can have a lot of members, but all those members that y'all watching those camps, all them black people is dead. Despite them screaming Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, and Esau Illuminati. All those Israelites are dead because the Israelites do not believe neither, because the Bible is for and against Israel. It's not against the Gentile nations, because the Gentile nations never received the commandments. You understand me? So out of all people on this earth, Israel is the only one that he known, and he gave commandments and statutes and ordinances to, for them to rule the world, to rule over these other nations, because life is based on captivity. You understand me? That's why I say y'all don't know what y'all worship. See, so understand that we assume that Yahweh God has color, but Yahweh Shai is prophecy. Do you understand me? Let me get 1 Peter 20. 1 Peter chapter 19, Shalaki. 1 Peter chapter 1, I want 20, but let me start at 19. Verse 19. But with the precious blood of Christ, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot, because the physical nature is corrupt. You understand me? Abel's sheep was corrupt because it was in the physical nature. You understand me? And once man's eyes became open, all creation became corrupt. You understand? All things are corrupt. The universe is corrupt. Let's read that again. But with the precious blood of Christ, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot, who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifested in the last times to you. And he was manifested in the last time through biblical prophecy, because he has an expiration date. Because in the 6 days he created the heavens and the earth, he created an end time. You understand me? It is what it is. See, so understand, life is already written. You understand me? So we assume that he has color, but yet no one understand that the imagination of man is wild, and that imagination leads to idolization. You understand me? Because idolization is the beginning and the end and the beginning and the end and the cause of all things. You understand me? It is what it is. Matter of fact, let me go into the book of Romans. See, because that leads to Romans chapter 1. Let me start at I'm gonna start at 22. Verse 22. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible Yahweh into an image made like to corruptible man. And the Israelites has a corruptible man, because through the description of the biblical prophecies, they created the man with an afro and with red eyes. And that's idolization. You understand me? See, so Israelites, they're going to die in idolization just like the Christian church. You understand me? Then you have the Caesar Borgia. That Caesar Borgia post that Christ goes back to the Ptolemy family. Goes back to Serapis. You understand me? See, so understand that the imagination leads to leads to idolization that leads to death. You understand me? It is what it is. See, so understand that Yahweh Shai is prophecy. You understand me? I'm gonna hold that. I'm gonna go back to Romans, but let me go to 1 John, and let me get 5. And let me start let me get 1 John. No, Shalaki, let me get let me get John, the first chapter. I was wondering what's going on. Let me get John, the first chapter. Oh. But understand that Yahweh Shai prophecy, see, so he would manifest it in his last times. You understand me? Let's go to the book of John, the first chapter. I'm going to start at 1, and then I'm going to go down to verse 14. John, chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, listen. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. Now, in the beginning was that Word, and that Word is prophecy. You understand me? That Word in the beginning is prophecy. And the Word was with God, and that Word is Elohim. You understand me? Because Elohim created the heavens and the earth. When you go back, come, let us make man. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. Let's read that again. John chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and that's prophecy. And the Word was Elohim, because Elohim created the heavens and the earth. And the Word was El, and the Word and prophecy was of God. That's why everything was written long before the foundation of the world. Yahweh Shai is biblical prophecy. You understand me? Because he knew that man was going to fall. You understand me? That's why grace is in its place. That's why you have grace. And I did a video touching on these things that y'all need to know and understand. Because of the physical nature is death automatically. So Christ had to come and bring grace. See, y'all don't understand what y'all worshiping. Y'all don't understand the Bible, and you don't know God. Let's read that again. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, Yahweh, and the Word was El. And the same was in the beginning with El. Listen, the same. The same was in the beginning with El, and that same is biblical prophecy. Now let's go down to verse 14. Now let's start at 13, then 14. Which were born, 13, which were born not of blood, nor the will of the flesh, nor the will of man, but of Yahweh. And he's talking about prophecy. Some people believe, and a lot of Israelites believe, that the goddess Aphrodite came down to Mary and Joseph, and they had physical sex, and Christ came. You understand me? It is what it is. See, so he's talking about the physical nature. Let's read this verse 13 again. Which were born not of blood, nor the will of flesh, nor the will of man, but of Yahweh. Meaning he was born not of blood, wasn't born, Yahweh Shai was born through the blood of Mary. You understand me? She inherited the DNA, the body of Mary. Do you understand me? See, so that will became flesh. I mean, so prophecy, Shalaki prophecy became flesh. You understand me? Let's go back. Let's go to the beginning. And let's go to the book of Genesis. Let me get 3 and let me go to verse 14. Genesis chapter 3, verse 14. And the Lord Yahweh said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shall thou go, and thus shall thou eat all the days of thy life. And what he talking about is the Lord nature. You always going to think, act, feel, and stay in the Lord nature, in that lower state. You understand me? Because that serpent symbolized the physical nature of man. You understand? Verse 15. And I will put an enmity. Now the enmity is a burial. And I will put an enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. And now that barrier that he put in between is divine. You understand me? That's why this truth is not for everybody. That's why this truth is based on belief. That's why Yahweh Shai say there are some of you that who believe not. Despite of your confessions, despite of your belief, despite of your religious teachings, a lot of y'all cannot see beyond the physical nature. You understand me? It is what it is. Hey, let's read 15 again. And I will put an enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. And he's talking about the physical nature. You understand me? It was going to be a barrier between that physical nature. And it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. And the head is that ministry, and the heel is his death, because it's the lower nature. You understand me? It's at the bottom. You understand me? See, so what he's talking about is Yahweh Shai is biblical prophecy. You understand me? He was in the beginning, and the beginning was biblical prophecy. That word, that beginning goes back to Genesis. Goes back into the Garden of Eden. It don't go back to the beginning of creation. It goes back into the Garden of Eden. That's why Yahweh Shai said, I seen Satan fall like lightning, because that physical nature fell. Why? Because Adam walked in the divine nature. Adam talked in the divine nature. You understand me? Until he fell to the physical nature. See, y'all don't understand this game or the Bible. You understand me? hey, it is what it is. See? So understand that he is prophecy. Let's go back to John. Let me get back to 1 John 5. And then let me start at 9. 1 John chapter 5, verse 9. If we receive the witness of man, the witness of Yahweh is greater. Now the witness of man is talking about the commandments of man and his prophecy on creation and the birth of Yahweh Shai. You understand me? It's the philosophy and religious ideology of man. That's his man witness, the physical. Now Yahweh on witness is that divine. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. Let's read that again. If we receive the witness of men, which is the philosophy, the witness of Yahweh is greater, and that's divine prophecy. For this is the witness of Yahweh, which have testified of his Son. He that believeth on the Son of Yahweh hath the witness in himself. And he's talking about witnessing and belief in biblical prophecy. That's why Yahweh Shai told them in John 6, John 5, Shalaki, if you believe not the writings of Moses, how you going to believe my words, because Moses wrote of me? You understand me? So the Moses wrote about the coming of Yahweh Shai. The prophets, the minor and the major prophets spoke about Yahweh Shai. You understand me? And to this day, we Israelites, the elect, we bringing the same truth to you. You understand? Hey, it is what it is. Let's read verse 10 again. He that believeth on the Son hath the witness in himself. He that believeth not Yahweh hath made him a liar, because he believed not the record that Yahweh gave his Son. Meaning that he was a liar because Yahweh God did not send his Son through the Virgin Mary. Yeah, the word of Yahweh God did not come flesh. I told one person, I was talking to one person, I was like, yo, he's called himself a Christian. So I'm like, you believe God created the heavens and the earth? Yeah, yeah. You believe God is all powerful? Yeah, that's my God. You believe that God can make a woman have a baby without a man? Hmm? Then I had to walk away. I'm like, never mind, conversation over. You understand me? See, so y'all have to understand this truth is based upon belief. You can have a lot of knowledge. You understand me? But you only gonna teach and live what you believe. Cause see, life is based on politics and religion. You understand me? That's why I'm not negligent to put you all into these things. That's why every video you can go to, when you go to every video, because they all come together as one, you will see this whole political game. You understand me? You'll see the Democrats' agenda, you'll see the lies, and you'll see the deceit. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is, but yet, you know, understand that Yahweh God has no color. Despite of Yahweh Shai coming in the flesh, despite of the mankind, the human body is of color. Do you understand me? Because see, understand this game is about obedience. You understand me? Let's go back to John, the first John. Let's go back to the second chapter, and then let's get verse 22. John, First John, chapter 2, verse 22. Who is a liar? But he that denieth that Yahweh Shai is Christ, he is an Antichrist, that denieth the Father and Son. Whosoever denieth the Son, the same hath denied, not the Father. But he that acknowledged the Son hath the Father also. And he talking about biblical prophecy. Once you acknowledge and understand biblical prophecy, and a lot of people can't understand biblical prophecy. A lot of people can't see beyond the physical nature, because the physical nature is a burial. You understand me? And a lot of Israelites, and so long with the church, they died idolization. You understand me? It is what it is. Let me go and get to the book of James. Let me get James 4 and 4. James chapter 4, verse 4. Oh, so like I'm at 3. Oh, 4 verse 4. Ye adulterous and adulteress. Now, when you're talking about adulteress and adultery, talking about idolization. You understand me? Because see, understand, idolization is the beginning and the end and the cause of all things. You understand me? That's why everything will come to a close. You understand me? Idolization leads to death. In fact, I'm going to hold that. I'm going to get the Apocrypha. I'm gonna go to the Apocrypha, and I'm gonna get Wisdom of Solomon. I'm gonna get Wisdom of Solomon 14, and I'm gonna go down chapter 14, and I'm gonna go to verse 12. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention, listen, and the invention of them the corruption of life. For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. For by the vainglory of men they enter into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end. You understand me? It is what it is, because see, once man's eyes became open, he became an enemy to Yahweh God. You understand me? See, so understand, this political game, this spiritual war is between man and Yahweh God, right? And now it's played out through politics, through cultural practices, etc. Financially, you understand me? You got the war with socialism now and capitalism. You understand me? The cultural war with bigotry and homophobic, transgender movements. You understand me? See, so understand this political game and this political war, because it all relates to the Bible. And all the prophecies of Yahweh intertwine with these agendas of these politicians. Like I did with the Green New Deal. You understand me? It's to basically try to stop the inedible from happening, which is the world, the physical nature is going to come to a close because life is based on Esau and Jacob. Life is based on Esau and Jacob. That's Yahweh God's covenant that established with Abraham. You understand me? Y'all don't understand this game. Let's go back. James chapter 4, verse 4. Ye adulterers and adulterers, know you not that friendship of the world is the enmity? Now the enmity is a barrier. Now the friendship is the physical nature of man. You understand me? It's religious ideology and philosophy, which is a barrier. You understand me? So that creates a physical nature, and you have a divine nature, and they clash against each other. That's politics. You understand me? This is a political war. You understand me? It's just that y'all lack understanding. Let's read that again. Ye adulterers and adulterers, know you not that friendship of the world is an enmity with Yahweh? Whosoever therefore be a friend of the world is an enemy to Yahweh. And a lot of y'all are enemies to Yahweh God through your religious teaching, your cultural practice, and your political views. You understand me? Because y'all go against Yahweh God because y'all don't understand the physical nature of man, and his ideology goes against Yahweh God. And through a lack of understanding, along with the Christian church, the Israelites, they fall into idolization too as well. You understand me? They fall victim to the philosophy of man. They hold captive to the religious ideology. You understand me? Or the birth of Christ, Yahweh Shai. Do you understand me? Hey, it is what it is. See, so you have to understand that Yahweh Shai is future prophecy. Let me get one more. Let me get 2 Timothy. And let me get 3 and 5. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 5. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. Because they all believe in Yahweh God and creation, but when it comes time to exercise that belief, they die outside of that belief. You understand me? When it comes time to biblical prophecy, many people, despite of their confessions and baptism, can't see beyond the physical nature. They can't see and get past that barrier. You understand me? Because they don't understand this political game. You understand me? They don't understand the spiritual battle that they are in. They don't understand the spiritual war is played out through these politicians' agenda. You understand me? Because this battle is against man and Yahweh God. You understand me? See, so understand that Yahweh Shai is prophecy. That's why he's known as the second Adam. Do you understand me? Let me get Romans 5, because that's why Yahweh God is not of color, but yet Yahweh Shai came in the physical flesh, because why? The world is made of color. You understand me? Go back to Genesis 2, the mist of the ground watered the dust. You know, so therefore the human body is of color. White people come out of black people. You understand me? So despite of the world being in color, Yahweh God is of no color. He exists, but we haven't seen Yahweh God. Christ have seen Yahweh God. And the description of Yahweh God, Christ didn't reveal, because Yahweh Shai is prophecy. Romans chapter 5, verse 12. Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, for all that have sinned. For until the law, sin was in the world, but sin was not imputed when there was no law. Nevertheless, death reigned from Adam to Moses, even over them that had not sinned, after the similitudes of Adam's transgressions. Now, we haven't sinned after like how Adam did. See, everybody born after Adam was born in iniquity and sin. When you go to what? Psalms 55:1, and sin did my mother created me, iniquity my mom conceived me. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. See, so understand, Adam was made from the material matters of this earth, and he fell victim to that material matter, to the physical nature. You understand me? So we was born into that disobedience. We were born into that physical nature through the inheritance. You understand me? It is what it is. See, so Adam hearkened to the physical nature, we automatically go straight from the womb. You understand me? Like how Galatians say, when we first come to learn to understand, what is it, Galatians? Yeah, Galatians, let me go to 4 and let me get to verse 8. Galatians chapter 4 verse 8. Howbeit then, when ye knew not Yahweh, you did service unto them which by nature are no gods. But now after that ye have known Yahweh, or rather are known of Yahweh, how turn ye again to weak and beggarly elements, whereunto desire again to be in bondage? And he talking about you Christians, y'all religious people. Because y'all confess, y'all have y'all cultural practice, yet y'all embrace the commandments of man. Y'all hold captive to the religious ideology, to the transgender movements that violates and make a mockery out of Yahweh God. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. See, so understand, he's known as the second Adam. Let me get 1 Corinthians 15, and let me have 45. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 45. And so it is written, the first man was made a living soul, the last Adam was made a quickening spirit. Howbeit, that when not first the spiritual, but that which is natural, and afterwards that which is spiritual. For the first man is of the earth, earthly. The second man is of the Lord from heaven. Anyway, he talking about is prophecy, because he came down from the heavens. The biblical prophecy had came to pass. Biblical prophecy had came to life. He spoke the world into existence, and the world came into existence. You understand me? So he spoke Yahweh Shai into existence. Yahweh Shai came into existence in the beginning. You understand me? Because everything, the world was created long before the foundation of the world. You understand me? It is what it is. See, so he's known as the second Adam. You understand me? Let me go up to verse 22. For in Adam all died, even so in Christ shall all be made alive. Why? Because Christ is biblical prophecy, and once you believe in that prophecy, you have life. That's why life is a gift, because grace helps you obtain that life. Because grace, without grace, we are all to be dead, whether you believe or not, because the physical nature is death, because the wages of sins is death. You understand me? The physical nature is automatically going to die, whether you believe or not again. You understand me? See, so y'all have to understand the Garden of Eden and understand what y'all worshiping, and y'all don't. You understand me? It is what it is. You understand me? Because see, understand racism don't exist. You understand me? It has no relation to the kingdom or to the Bible at all, or to the Hebrew writings of Moses. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. See, it's a modern terminology. That modern terminology is the philosophical weapon. It's the philosophical words. It's the philosophical tools they use to wage war religiously, politically, economically, and culturally. You understand me? See, so understand racism is a theory. You understand that's been indoctrinated through the media, yet racism don't exist. You understand me? But yet it's a philosophical, political tool. It's used as the weapon of war against Yahweh God, because the spiritual battle is played out religiously, culturally, politically, dietarily, economically, and culturally. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. Let me get Job 26. Oh, Shalaki, let me get Job 6. Shalaki, let me get Job 6. And 26. Job chapter 6, verse 26. Do you imagine to improve words in the speeches of one that is desperate, which are as the wind? Meaning that y'all imagine to reprove words, but they are emptiness. Meaning, say like, okay, I'm giving an example. Say like, these politicians, these socialists want to get in office so bad. These Democrats want to obtain power so bad, so they come and tell you, oh, Donald Trump racist, this racist is that. And there's nothing but emptiness. You understand me? They just said just so that they can obtain the power. You understand me? And that what racism is, the political weapon, it's the political tool that rages war. You understand me? It's a words. It's a weapon of war. You understand me? Let's read that again. Job chapter 6, verse 26. Do you imagine to reprove words and the speeches of one that is desperate, which are as a wind, because they are emptiness. They don't mean nothing. All that stand up for democracy, that don't mean nothing. All these philosophical quotes from these politicians is emptiness. You understand me? That help work. We stand for the middle class. That's nothing but emptiness. Because the middle class is getting taxed the hell out of. Because they finna get rid of and wipe out the middle class to create the poor and the rich only. To have two classes in America. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. Let me go to the book of Psalms 140. And let me get I'm gonna start at 1. Psalms 140 verse 1. Deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man, which image mischiefs in their hearts continually, and are gathered together for war. Meaning that in their hearts they come and gather for war because they come and pass legislations and policies that comes against Yahweh God, that enslave you. You understand me? Go back into this new world order in Revelation. They're gonna wage war against the saints of Israel, and they wage war through policies and regulations by censorship. You regulating speech. Do you understand me? Having governments come as the one and the bureaucracy come in as one and implementing these wicked ass agendas. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. Let's read verse 2 again. Which imagine mischiefs in their hearts continually. They are gathered together for war. They have sharpened their tongues like serpents. Adder's poison is under their lips. And that serpent is talking about philosophy. That serpent symbolizes the law nature of man. That philosophy, they're ready to trap you. They're ready to enslave you with these words because you don't know the terminology that they use to promote their agenda. You understand me? Because see, understand, it's freedom and capitalism. And the Democrat Socialist is against capitalism. So they're attacking and call it racism. You understand me? But understand that racism, this is a political war. Racism don't exist. Yet in the Bible, the closest definition you're going to get to racism is to respect the persons. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. Let me get Psalms 21. Let's go back to Psalms 21. Let me get Psalms 21 and let me go to verse 11. Psalms 21 verse 11. For they intend evil against thee. They imagine a mischievous device, which they are not able to perform. Meaning that they're not able to perform. Say they talking about, I'm going to give you an example. Say like they talk about the Affordable Care Act. But yet when Spamberger for Virginia now came into office, what happened? She raised taxes. You understand me? They can't, the stuff that they say they can do, they can't do. They cannot do. Because this is not about skin color. Same thing with Brandon Johnson. You understand me? It is what it is with Chicago. You understand me? See, so they implement, okay, say like men can have babies. You understand me? You know and I know naturally that a man cannot have baby, but through political, political ideology, a man can have a baby. Now, if you disagree, you's a bigot, you's a homophobic. You understand me? See, so they tell you these things that they can't perform. They don't make your life any better. Because, see, understand, they already know who you are as a nation, as a people. You understand me? That's why when you go into Deuteronomy 28 and 28, you go to see that them economic curses that Yahweh God put the children of Judah in. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. See, so y'all really have to understand this war, this game, and they use these words like Racism, bigotry, phobic, all that ain't nothing but weapons, political tools that they use to enslave you religiously, politically, economically, and culturally. You understand me? Let me get First Samuel. Let me get 1 Samuel 8, and then let me get verse 12. 1 Samuel chapter 8, verse 12. And he will appoint him captains over thousands and captains over 50, and will set them to ear his ground, and to reap his harvest, and to make his instruments of war and instruments of his chariots. Meaning that his ears is to the ground through these policies and regulations like racism, bigotry, discrimination, etc. You understand me? See, so understand these are weapons of words of war. You understand me? And we are in that battle. You understand me? That's why 2 Thessalonians, y'all wish I say what? Y'all in a delusional state to where y'all believe y'all believe a lie than the truth. You understand me? Meaning that y'all believe that these politicians is going to save you, but they cannot save you, no, regardless of what they say. We're going to make your life affordable. How they going to make your life affordable when man enslaved man? Socialism is economic enslavement. Ask Cuba, ask Colombia, ask Chile, ask Nicaragua, ask these third world countries that all these people leaving. They leaving socialism. They escaping communism, and they coming to America because America's a capitalist country. Yet the people in America lack understanding, so they voting for a communist and socialist enslavement. You understand me? Not understanding. So what happened is that these immigrants going to go back home once they find out that Americans enslaved their own self. You understand me? That's why y'all don't understand what y'all voting for. Y'all don't understand this political game. That's why y'all die in separation and idolization. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. Let me get to the book of James, the 2nd chapter. And let me have I'm gonna start at 2. James chapter 2, verse 2. For if there come unto you an assembly a man with a gold ring and good apparel, and there come also a poor man in vile raiment, and ye have respect to him that weareth the gay clothing, and say to him, sit thou here, sir, in a good place. And say to the poor, stand thou there, and sit here under my footstool. Are ye then not impartial in yourselves, and are become judges of evil thoughts? Meaning that y'all are impartial in yourselves, in y'all political ideology and philosophy. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. See, so that sounds like racism to me. You understand me? If you don't agree with what I say, then you a racist. You understand me? See, so understand that the closest definition you're going to get to racism in the Bible is to respect the persons, because they have basically the same political and biblical definition, just like kingdom and country has the same political and biblical definition. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. You understand me? Oh, I'm gonna get. Let me finish up. Hearken, my beloved brethren. Have not Yahweh chosen the poor of the world rich in faith and heirs of the kingdom, which he have promised to them that love him? See, promised to him that love him. And what he talking about are those that are economically poor, meaning that their hearts are not set on the economic system of man to come up to enjoy life. You understand me? It is what it is, because they know and understand that the material matters is going to come to a close. You understand? It is what it is. Those material matters are corrupt. You understand? Verse 6. But ye despise the poor, do not rich men oppress you, and draw you before judgment seat? Meaning that the poor people, the rich will judge you. They'll put you in front of the media. You understand me? Today you have the media where you get doxxed on the internet, on TikTok. You get doxxed on Instagram. You understand me? You get followed, you get death threats and everything. You understand me? Straight through. You understand me? With the respected persons. You understand me? But ye have despised the poor. Do not the rich man oppress you and draw you before judgment seat? Do not the blasphemy that worthy name by which ye are called? Do do not they blaspheme that worthy name by which ye are called? If ye fulfill the royal law according to the scripture, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, ye will do well. But if ye have respect of persons, ye commit sin, and are convinced of the law as transgressors. Meaning that to show racism and favoritism, you are breaking the law, you are committing the transgressions. And a lot of Israelites are in the state of transgressions, despite of the knowledge of they teaching that they Israel and teaching y'all with Esau and teaching y'all how this game is being played. You understand me? Yet at the end of the day, they violate the commandments through idolization. You understand me? It is what it is. See, because they have respect the persons. Why? Because they fall victim. The Israelite camps today fall victim, just like the Christian church, to the philosophy of man. So they hold captive to philosophy. So they die in that philosophy. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. Let me get Leviticus. Let me get Leviticus 19 and 15. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 15. Ye shall do not unrighteous in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the persons of poor, nor honor the persons of the mighty. But in righteousness thou shalt judge thy neighbor. You understand me? See, so respect the persons is you committing a sin. And a lot of Israelites stay in that transgression of sin because they lack understanding that racism is a political tool, it's a weapon of war. And once they constantly use that and to promoting that the doctrines or exposing Esau Illuminati and his government, yet they are heavy into transgression, into separation, despite of. You understand me? It is what it is. Because they die into graven images. You understand me? Because they talking about racism. Racism don't exist. What Esau did to the black man and to the so-called African Americans, the transatlantic slave trade here in America, that's not racist. But yet then y'all like understand another political prophecy. So y'all fall victim to the philosophy of man and die to that philosophy in that lower state. You understand me? Let me get Proverbs 24 and 23. Proverbs 24 verse 23. These things also belong to the wise. It is not good to have respect of persons in judgment. You understand me? See, so understand it's not good to have respect of persons. It's not good to show favoritism. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is, because then what happens is that you commit sins like that. Let's get 28 and 21 in Proverbs. Proverbs 28 verse 21. To have respect of persons is not good. For a piece of bread that man will transgress. See, so for a piece of bread he will transgress. See, so when you show respect a person that can trigger a person into committing violent acts against you, committing violent acts against other people. You cast stumbling blocks on their lives. So therefore you became a transgressor of the law. You understand me? See, so you have to understand when the Bible talks about corrupt communication, and that's another video that we're going to get into, because everything I break down in my videos one by one, because I'm on my lunch break. So I can't get heavy into all these things, so I have to break them down in every other video. You understand me? Hey, let's read 28 again, Proverbs. Proverbs 28 verse 21. To have a respect of persons is not good. For a piece of bread that man will transgress. Meaning that he's going to transgress. You understand me? See, so understand that Yahweh God is not a respected person. You understand me? Let me get the Romans Let me go to the book of Romans 2, and let me start at 11. Romans chapter 2, verse 11. For there is no respect of persons with Yahweh. Now let's go up to verse 6. Who will render to every man according to his deeds. You understand me? See, so he gonna get every man, he gonna render every man according to his deeds. You understand me? See, so therefore Israel going to get it just as well as the Gentiles going to get it. Who all, anybody that's outside of the commandments, statutes, and ordinances is going to get it. It don't matter what color you are. You understand me? Because this is not about color. This is about obedience. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. Let me go to Jeremiah 9. And let me get 25. Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 25. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will punish all of them which are uncircumcised with the uncircumcised. Which are circumcised with the uncircumcised. Egypt, Judah, Edom, the children of Ammon, Moab, and all that are in the uttermost corners that dwell in the wilderness. For all the nations are uncircumcised, and all the house of Israel are uncircumcised in heart. Meaning that spiritually, Israel is uncircumcised. But physically, Israel has that covenant, so they are circumcised. Physically, the Gentiles don't have no covenant, so they are uncircumcised. You understand me? So it don't matter whether you circumcised or not. It's about keeping the commandment. Because see, life is based on captivity. And the Gentiles are going to learn the truth, and they're going to go into slavery. Because Yahweh God's kingdom is reverse slavery. Because life is built on enslavement. You understand me? Like this new world order. You're going to be enslaved to the order of man, or you're going to be enslaved to the order of God. Because this is about obedience. You understand me? Let me get Romans 6 and 16 right quick. Romans chapter 6, verse 16. Know you not that to whom you give yourself service to obey, his servants ye are to whom you obey, whether sin unto death or of obedience unto righteousness. Meaning either you're going to obey the physical nature or you're going to obey that divine nature. You understand me? There is no in between. You understand me? Let me give 1 Corinthians 7. And let me get go down to 22. But I'm gonna start at 21. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 21. Thou art called being a servant, care not for it. Because it don't matter whether you're a slave or not. Because at the end of the day, life is based on slavery. So it doesn't matter. You understand me? Let's read that again. Thou art called being a servant, care not for it. But if thou mayest be free, use it rather. For ain't talking about from freedom from the policies, the governance system of man. You are free. You understand me? For he that is called in the Lord being a servant is the Lord freeman. Likewise also that is called being free is Yahweh's side Christ's servant. Meaning that once you is a servant to the physical nature. Once you leave the physical nature, you become obedient to that divine nature. Once you leave that divine nature, you become obedient to that physical nature. There is no in between. You can't sit at two tables. You understand me? Either you're going to be hot or you're going to be cold. You understand me? There is no in between. You understand me? And a lot of y'all think that there is the in between because y'all like understanding, because you think that you are saved by grace. But you don't understand grace, and you don't understand baptism. You don't understand biblical prophecy. You understand me? So as a result, y'all die in separation. Same thing with the Israelites. Because Yahweh God exists, but he's not of color. You understand me? Let me get Job. Let me get Job 41. Okay, Job 41, and then I'm gonna go to Psalms 18, and I'm gonna go to verse 7. Psalms chapter 18, verse 7. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundation also of the hills moved and was shaken because he was wroth. And what he talking about is a cataclysmic event, meaning basically the tectonic plates of the earth splitting apart, or the plates around globally are slipping that causes mega tsunamis. There went up a smoke out of his nostrils, a fire out his mouth devoured, coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also and came down, and darkness was under his feet. He rode upon a cherub and did fly. Yea, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. Verse 12. And the brightness that was before him, his thick clouds passed, hailstorm and cold fire. The Lord also thundered in the heavens, and the highest gave his voice, hailstone, coals of fire. Yea, he sent out arrows and scattered them, and he shot out lightning and discomforted them. Meaning that when he shot them lightning, you seen people running because of that lightning was striking down, coming down. Because see, he talking about cataclysmic events. You understand me? Natural disasters that caused by these astronomical events, like these tsunamis and volcanoes. Tsunamis and volcanoes and earthquakes are geological events that's going to take place. That's what he's talking about, and Yahweh exists through these geological events. See, a lot of Israelites think he's a actual man with gray hair, white hair and red eyes, which is not true, because what happened is that they created an image of man. Go back into Romans 1. You understand me? They made an image of a corruptible God and made him into an uncorruptible. They made an uncorruptible God into a corruptible image made like man, bird, man, birds, man, bird, beast, and every creepy thing that's on this earth. And going back to the commandments, thou shalt have no graven images, but yet Israel have graven images just like the Christian church. You understand me? They have a white Caesar Borgia. The Israelite has a black Christ. You understand me? But then Yahweh God, description in the scriptures is allegory. You understand me? See, so what he talking about is a natural disaster. A natural event, because Yahweh God exists through these creations. So he has no color, despite of Christ coming in the flesh. You understand me? Verse 15. Then the channels of water were seen, and the foundations of the world were discovered by the rebuke at the Lord, at the blast of the breath of his nostrils. And he talking about creation. He talking about volcanic activity. You understand me? He came down on the volcanic activity. Let's go to Psalm 68 and 8 right quick. Psalm 68 verse 8. The earth shook and the heavens dropped, also dropped at the presence of Yahweh. Even Sinai itself was moved at the presence of Yahweh, the God of Israel. Meaning that Yahweh came down and he met the children of Israel. You understand me? When they was on the side of that mountain, they met Yahweh God. They were standing on the side of a volcano. You understand me? Let me get Exodus 19 and let me go to 17. Exodus chapter 19 verse 17. And Moses brought forth the people out the camp to meet Yahweh, and they stood at the nether part of the mount, and the Mount Sinai was altogether on smoke, because the Lord descended upon it fire, and the smoke therefore ascended as smoke of a furnace, and when the whole mount quaked greatly. You understand me? See, so he's talking about the volcanic activity. You understand me? Let's go to Job 41. Let me get verse 19. Job 41 verse 19. Out of his mouth go burning lamps, and sparks of fire leap out. Out of his nostrils goes smoke out as a seething pot of cardon. His breath kindle coals. A flame of fire goeth out of his mouth. his neck remaining strength. Sorrow is turned into joy. Now his neck remaining in the strength, he's talking about that volcano, how thick that volcano is and how high that volcano is. Like you got Mount Helen, you got Yellowstone. So he's talking about that thickness of the volcano. You understand? And his neck remained in strength, and sorrow turned into joy before him. Why? Because they see all these events and destruction, and they being saved, that turned into joy. Because once they pray and say, Lord Father, save me, and they get saved, they are blessed and happy and grateful. You understand me? They see they were saved. You understand me? Hey, it is what it is. So they sadness turned into joy because they were saved. Verse 23. The flakes of his flesh are joined together. Listen. The flakes of his flesh are joined together. They are firm in themselves. They cannot be moved. His heart is as firm as stone, yea, as hard as a piece of a milestone. And when talking about his flakes, his flesh, he talking about his flesh, he talking about the ashes, volcano ashes. Because those volcano ashes are thick. And then when they cover the whole earth, they leave a blanket, a thick blanket, a dust. You understand me? See, so the flames is talking about ashes, volcanic ashes. You understand me? Let me get Revelations 1 and 13 right quick. And then let me go to the and I'm gonna go to the book of Daniel, and I'm gonna hold that and I'm gonna get Daniel 7. I'm gonna get 7 and 9. Let me start at Daniel 7. Daniel chapter 7 verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheel as burning fire. Now that don't sound like a man, but through the imagination of man, through the lack of understanding, they create a man. And what he talking about, the days and white as snow, his hair, he talking about that smoke. Because see, when that smoke rises up out of that volcano, it shows signs, it shows shapes. You understand me? So what he talking about is destruction. You understand me? It is what it is. Let's go back up to Daniel 9. Let's go to the beginning. Let's start at the beginning. Daniel 7 and 9. I beheld till the thrones was cast down. See, till the thrones were cast down. He's talking about all kingdoms fell. Talking about the end. You understand me? Talking about destruction. So Yahweh God is saying through destruction. You understand me? Let me get Psalm 77 and 18 right quick. Psalm 77 verse 18. The voice of thy thunder was in the heavens that lightened the world. The earth trembled and shook. The way was in the sea, and the path in the great waters, and thy footsteps are not known. Because he exists through these things, so he's not an actual man of color. You understand me? Although we were created in his image and in his order. Revelation chapter 1 verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hair were like wool, and as white as wool, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like fine brass, as if they burnt in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. And what he talking about is deep stellar space, because that darkness running about him is interstellar space. What he talking about is volcanic activity, that volcano erupting, the whole earth is shaking. You understand me? Like how you say in Isaiah 24. Let me get that 24 and 20. Isaiah 24 verse 20. The earth shall rear to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be moved like a cottage. You understand me? See, so understand that he's talking about a great quake, talking about a geological event that's going to take place that brings destruction. You understand me? That's what he talking about. And Yahweh exists through his destruction. You understand me? See, so Yahweh God is not of color. Although the world and the human body is of color, and Yahweh Shai is of color because he came in the flesh. White people, so-called white men, came out of black people. Yet at the end of the day, this is not about color, but this is based on obedience. Like in that New World Order, either you're going to obey or not. It is what it is. With Yahweh God, either you're going to obey or you're going to die. You understand me? There ain't no favoritism. You understand me? See, so Yahweh God is not a respected person. He's not a racist. You understand me? Racism is a political weapon that they use to attack against Yahweh God because we are in a war. And that war is played out through these agendas of these politicians. See, so y'all have to understand what y'all worshiping and understanding what this game is about. That's why Paul tell you to examine yourself. And a lot of y'all examine yourself, although you believe and have faith and got baptized, yet at the end of the day, you are an enemy against Yahweh God because you support legislation that violates and make a mockery out of him. You understand me? Meaning that even though you believe, but democracies, transgender movements, all these people, all these agendas governs the way how you vote, governs what you eat, governs how you dress, governs how you talk. So you are governed by the commandments of man and this religious ideology and government system. And the commandments don't govern you. So therefore y'all die outside of your faith. So when that day come, he don't even know you. You understand? Matthew 7, I don't know you. Depart from me, ye that worketh iniquity. You understand me? See, so y'all have to understand what y'all worshiping and understanding this political game.